It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle.
This is not justice!
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
No peace, no justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K-Man, Mr. Gee paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive. Even with your lies.
This is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka Clary is a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. On this program, Dr. Meleeka guides you toward a more fulfilling life through the power of positive psychology. And now, please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Good. I have to say, let me say this. Thank you, God, for getting me up this morning and being able to say I love you to my children and making sure we're okay, my family. In Jesus' name, I pray, amen. You know, I have to give praise because it's just been a real rocky week. I don't want to say month. My mom, and thank you for all your prayers, everyone. My mom is okay. But as you know, there's change, and that change comes with she needs more assistance. You know, she's 82 years old, and unfortunately, you know, these things do happen that sometimes our elderly people, when they have an incident or accident or anything that happens to them, they don't fully recover. They slowly recover. So I always tell people, please take care of yourself. Not saying that my mom didn't. It's just that when something happens to you, you can recover. And as you get older, you need that strength. You need that body. You need that, you know, that, I want to say being more stretched like a rubber band because, you know, our bodies get tight as you get older. You don't do things. You don't exercise as much. And so the recovery process, too, is long. You know, my mom had a little illness and did a little, I want to say, but did a lot of work. Like, you know, so right now she's lost weakness and we're trying to get her back. She can't be left alone. Not anymore. You know, so she needs round the clock assistance to help and make sure that she's okay. So I'm doing just that, you know, because we don't want our elderly to fall. And I don't want her to fall and break something or do something and be unattended. So I'm so glad that God has healed her to what is going on. I just wanted to say, oh my gosh, Dr. Wilkin, thank you so much for all your help. You are amazing, doctor, at St. Vincent's Hospital. And the nurses that helped you. Thank you for all your nurses. I don't know everybody's name, but I know Dr. Wilkins. You are awesome, and you just pioneered to me, and I appreciate all the help that you provided for my mom, and I'm so grateful. When I say people go beyond and above to help someone, I think this doctor, she does her job, and helping people, not just beyond what she do, like just to do it as a profession. She actually helps her and want to make sure she got better. And I could see that real genuine love and passion what she does. And the nurses, I don't know all of them. We have Erica, I think Kevin. I just to name a couple. I forget some other ones, but if I did forget your name, thank you so much. I'm talking about all the nurses that help my mom, and you know who you are. All the couple times that she kept going back and forth, you helped, you know. And so thank you for your assistance, because she could not have a good recovery without your help. And all the quickness, you know, because unfortunately my mom was unresponsive on certain things, and Dr. Wilkins, she navigated real quick and things got better. And I know we have a road to go, but only because I say because she's elderly, and I just hope that she'll get better. I know we kind of say, time is time, but we like to keep our elderly as long as we can. They're the pioneers. They take the torch and they run with it. And it gives you that strength to say, I'm gonna run that far too. You know. So I'm just grateful that we have some doctors out there and nurses and techs that will rally for you. And I appreciate all your help. So I got to say that. I had some magical doctors that and Dr. Peterson and I believe Kim Dry. If I said that not wrong, you're another doctor. You guys did very good. Thank you for caring for my mom. I felt that Dr. Wilkins, she and her team she was in good hands. And I really have to say that from the bottom of my heart. So I appreciate you. And sometimes you have to give acknowledgement and recognition to ones who go beyond and above to help your loved ones. And I know there's many people out there, and we talk about hospitals and how this care is that and that care. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The care that my mom received was just utmost. I'm lost for words. Exceptional. I love it. Thank you again. I couldn't praise you no more than what I'm saying, because I am always just grateful, because you give me peace. And they call me and make sure, they give me a call. They knew I had a show. They give me a call, let me know what's going on. And I mean, things that happened and took place for my mom. I would just be just, I'm just lost words, because she needed that. And I'm sharing this to you because some doctors and nurses don't get the recognition they should. You know how we have good people, bad people? Well, I ran into a bunch of good ones. And I'm going to shout it out. So thank you again, Dr. Wilkins. And I hope you are seeing this, because thank you. Thank you so much again. And with that being said, I'm going to talk about some other things, because I think a lot of people need to understand, even though what I go through, I share these things I go through because they're real, but they're also questions people have. And I have some solutions, or at least some ideas for you. And we talk about, the elderly, we talk about that. I want to be on that subject a little bit, because there was some transitioning that was going on. And I have to just keep on letting people know, because I'm all about sharing and caring people. So when when you go through something, you share that, because it helps other people. I wish people would just tell me, what I was going against. It helps you to be prepared. Sometimes we don't do that. So we need to do that. Okay. And with that being said, I'm going to come back. We're going to take a brief commercial, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about some other things I want you to know from my experience. But sharing is caring. So don't you go nowhere, folks. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Don't go nowhere, Phil. We'll be right back.
Dr. Meleeka Clary is an award-winning director, actor, model, paralegal, clinical psychologist, and YouTuber who focuses on raising public awareness of judicial deception and the importance of mental health. Clary has won several accolades and awards for 3 corners of deception, including Best Human Rights Director and Best Female Director at the Toronto International Women's Film Festival. She joined HMWP Psychology Counseling in 2019 and has since been creating content for YouTube. Dr. Clary's work has been praised for its insights into the criminal mind, and she continues to be an outspoken advocate for justice.
And I wanted to do the show, which I was asked to do so, but I had to do it my way. And my way is this: I want to know, who are you? I mean, I could tell you what I am. I'm a filmmaker, I'm an actress, I'm a mom, I'm a doctor. But who am I? Who do I identify myself as to myself? You have a lot of people walking around here and they don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about. It's who are you? Because I interview celebrities, I interview doctors, lawyers, average folks. I mean, you could be a nurse, it doesn't matter. I'm going to interview, but I'm not just going to interview about you. I'm going to interview, who are you to you? Who do you identify yourself? Because believe it or not, that's a very interesting question. And a lot of times it's hard to answer.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand that.
You're a clinical psychologist.
Yes.
Filmmaker.
Yes.
Actress.
Yes.
Model.
Yes.
How do you find the time to everything?
Well,
it's amazing. Many congratulations with everything.
Thank you. I think life, that's what it is. I mean, I'm 50, so I have a lot of life there. So experiences and challenges and, things I wanted to do in life.
I just love, I can feel the passion of that you have for your work. Yes. I can feel that. You and I have only just met this morning. Mm-hmm. But you have so much involvement with people, your patients, clients, and you love it, don't you? You really do.
I do.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, where we're going live. I should say that too. And powered by Sweet Recordings. I'm so getting used to this new platform of mine. You would think I'm used to everything, right? Well, no. Sometimes Dr. Meleeka Clary, she, gotta accept change when it happens, and I'm all good with it. I love it. I love it, you guys. So before I left on break, I was talking about elderly, but I was using my own examples and my own experience that I had been going through with my mom. Well, here's the thing that I also want to talk about. Not just with my mom, but just in general, because it gives me opportunity to speak to other people, find out their thoughts. And one thing I realized, that I know that we all should understand elderly people. What is an elderly people? A person that can't get around and do things like they used to. They're getting older only because they're older, not because they don't want to. Oh yeah, they want to. It's just they're getting older, so it's a life change. Just like growing up, life changing. You're immature, you become not immature. Sometimes you're still immature, whatever. But still, it's a personality. But in this sense, it's a condition and a mental condition as well. So we need to learn and understand and educate yourself about elderly individuals, because if you want to live this long life, and it's up to God, you can experience this. And I think that it's important for me to explain that when you see an elderly person, and I gotta say this, even working in the hospitals, maybe asking people like that if they're being, escorted by themselves and they don't have anybody with them, they might can get to the appointment, but what about reading the documentation? May not be always, because sometimes you don't have it all together and you kind of like, oh, I want to, do you know what this means? And let me give you an example why I'm bringing this up. And I got to talk about this because I didn't like this. And I'm going to share this because I think a little bit of understanding and patience should have went far. Took my mom to a hospital. Actually, it was an appointment. I'm not saying the young lady, well, she wasn't young, but she was a little older than me. I'm not saying that she was wrong, but she wasn't successful. Let's just put it that way. She didn't have the tools to be successful to do certain things. Like, I asked the question, they gave me the pad, and I said, here you go. I'm looking at my mom and like, well, if she didn't have somebody here, who would been able to read this information to her? Now I'm listed as her caregiver and also one that you can talk to, whatever, for her or anything like that. But here's the question. I seen someone else, and there were several other people. They had no clue when they gave them the iPad. And then it's an iPad or something like that. I gave him this pad, had no clue. I watched this elderly person stood there like this. Didn't know what to do. And it was just like, it's almost like they were just, just couldn't get it together. And they were so frustrated. So when I asked the young lady, I say young, but she is older than me. But I asked this lady, and I said, if I didn't come with my mom or was able to read something for her on her behalf, would have it been anybody else? Oh, no. I said, what would you have done? Reschedule. Really? Are you serious? She said, yeah, I will reschedule. We have interpreters for people who don't speak English. Why would we reschedule an elderly person that cannot read all of the information that you're telling them to read, all in those 7 or 8 pages or 9 pages? Why would we reschedule? They need them appointments. So let me explain to some of the facilities, if you are doing this, maybe we could find some funding or something. Maybe we should hire or train the ones who are working in the front to assist the person that needs assistance, and not say we're going to reschedule, because your elderly person needs guidance. Some elderly people still say, I could take myself to the appointment, and they're going to go. But when it comes to that reading, they may not want to read it, or they may not understand what they're reading. We need guidance. We need somebody in the lobby to say, do you need some assistance with that? Or, I mean, I have to give the solution because I worked in hospitals over 3 decades. So I know, and it's probably been longer than that. And I've always helped people. Even me being, I think I was a customer service rep in clinical over there in several hospitals in Massachusetts. And I would go beyond and above. Do you need help understanding that? I will read that to them. Do you understand what you're signing? We need that. If you don't want to do it for somebody like my age, you think, oh, we got it together. But how about if they don't have somebody that's coming to the hospital with them and they need that? I literally watched this person struggle. And then I watched the other person. It was 2 elderly leading the elderly. And they even looked confused. And the guy had, no clear of saying, he's out the count. She's trying to get it together. But this other soul was lost in the sauce. And I said to myself, wow, that's what we're doing? We know it's not a fashion, people, to get old. But are we putting things in place for our elderly to be successful? Are we helping enough? I can't blame the woman for what she said. It's protocol. But what I'm saying is that there is situations that, like I saw, and I wanted to go and say, hey, do you need help? But mind you, this is confidential information, and I'm not sure if that person wanted me to look at any of that information. And I wasn't, insured by the hospital, because I know that people are insured doing the responsibility to do for the job task. I don't see nothing wrong with implementing that in the job responsibilities. If you have someone who needs some assistance, then you should be able to do that. So I'm just saying, people, we got to do better with that. Now, this was one of the appointments. This is not, St. Vincent's. This was another place that my mom had an appointment. I just happened to observe that. Now, I will say this again. She wasn't a wrong person for saying what she said. She just wasn't successful to do it. So evidently, that was the way to go, to reschedule. And if you had to wait for an appointment for so long, then that's your only options, is to reschedule, because that person could not really read all the information that you're saying, here you go. And it wasn't like it was crazy busy either. I'm just thinking we need to go beyond and above sometime. But if you're following protocol at the job site, then there's really nothing I can say. I have to say, then you're not being taught to be successful to help the patient all the way around. And that is discouraging. Because I look at my mom and I said, she wouldn't have been able to do this. But a reschedule? We need to have some more understanding for our elderly people that there is called dementia, people. People are losing that brain function. It's not as quick as 20, 25, or 30, or 40, or 50. It's slowing down, people. We need to get with that. No, because it's slowing down, we need to understand the slowdown and cater to that. Because like I said before, and I will continuously say it again, if you plan to get that at age, if God allows you, you will once be that person in your life. And wouldn't you want us to get it together now? So then when that time comes, you got everything you need to be successful. If you're going to Uber to your appointment, you might could do that, or somebody send you a ride. You got what you need to be successful. Somebody's going to help you. Read them 8 pages. Just saying. So I have to mention that there's, like I told you, sharing is caring. I'm all about change. We need change. We need to do better when it comes to our elderly people. And I'm going to really get a little bit more in details about these things, because I shouldn't see certain things and I don't see help for them. It just can't be. We got to make some changes. I mean, the history of knowing something, but no one does nothing about it. Come on. We can change that. We could do that. And on that note, we are going to take a brief commercial, and we'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Do not go nowhere. We'll be
Can you tell us about your show, the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show?
Okay, well, the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on Bold and Brave TV, that is about identification of oneself. So it helps people to start talking and communicating how you feel, what's going on, but not just that. Because that's how depression happens. That's how anxiety happens. Because we're not talking anymore until something really happens. When I ask people about the identification of oneself, I start asking you, what about challenges in your life? Can you tell me, how did you get through it? Because we got many people out there that doesn't understand, like, okay, you're just like me. Well, let me tell you, you are. I don't care what color you are. You're still a human being, and you're still, you know, you go through challenges, but show me or explain to me, how did you get through it? And some people come with stories that's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you went through it. But here's my viewers, you're just like me. And that helps other people to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna attack this. I'm gonna stay in this life one day at a time. If that person can go through it and get through it, I can too.
Now look at this huge group here. They look fantastic, especially this guy at the back here. Look at this. Look at this. Look, ta-da, ta-da. Oh! Get off my... Yeah, I was like, oh, get off my foot. Tell us about you guys.
They're from Boston. I'm from Indianapolis. We're here with 3 Corners of Deception movie. Here's the director right here, Dr. Meleeka Clary. I'm Will Garth, the cinematographer. Our movie can be found on Amazon Prime. We have some of the actors and cast. We got Lance Lacconi, the promoter, executive producer. These are also her daughters, her sister, her friend. We're all here. We're all big family.
We are family. Wow.
Production manager, actress, all in the movie 3 Corners of Deception. Hello, promoter Lance Lacconi. Say hello. Hello.
He's the Godfather, right?
I know, the Godfather.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Yes, you see, we were quick. We're still learning this new thing, y'all. Thank you to my engineer, Matthew. His first time working with me. Yay. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I love it though. We get these new changes. It's nice things is happening. They're doing a wonderful job. But yeah, so I have to, so you might hear me say something. I'm like, oh, okay. Still getting used to it. But like I said, the doctor likes new change, and I'm getting used to that. So welcome back. So before I went on commercial, I was talking about elderly. But not even just of what I'm saying is that, excuse me, we need to look at me. That water, get me. We need to have some more patience with the elderly people, because they are elderly and they're not thinking the way they used to. So come on, people, we need to catch on things. I have to mention about rehab facilities and nursing homes. Here's the thing. My mom was to go to a rehab facility. It wasn't far from where I live, but I worked there. I did pro bono. But things change. And when I say the type of care, I won't put them on blast. I didn't like the care, so I'm not going to put on blast of what happened there. Okay? But I think it's a particular people is why I didn't like it. We have to think about this. I get it that you work at a job and you probably might like it, might not. You've been there so long. But there is people expecting care for their loved ones. And they expect to be taken care of, watching them. Well, there was an episode at this facility and my mom didn't look like herself. I walked in, looked like she needed to go to the hospital. But there's people just walking by the corridor. Now I hear the bad, I want to say the bad reputation of this facility, or just, I want to say nursing homes, because this was a nursing home / rehabilitation. She was only there for the rehabilitation part. But if you have a reputation that is bad, that, oh, that's what happens in nursing homes, that's what happened, we need to change that. Don't you think we should? Because guess what? Here's the thing, that upscale of it. I had one girl, I will say that, Jamie, she was real good. She rallied. She was good. She helped my mom. See, I gotta recognize people who go beyond and above to help. She made sure my mom get her meds, do what she had to do, make sure she would take care. There was a couple other ones that didn't. Like 4 of them that didn't. That did not check up on my mom. And I know we kind of think, should they be prioritizing, just your mom? No. I don't think she should have been prioritized. I know they have other people, but when you're walking by your door, isn't some type of monitoring you're supposed to do? And someone's down there like this, that tells me, do a checkup. You got a person like this. That does not say they are okay. If you're used to that behavior, they might be napping, do a checkup. That is, to me, like the worst fear is see somebody do that. I've worked in nursing home facilities and I always check up. Hey, you all right? You good? You still with us? But that's the character in me. We need to do better in these facilities of monitoring our people here, because it can't just be, oh, you're getting insurance for them. You got to care a little bit. Dude, check out, knock on the door, make sure they give you a switch or something. Do something. I didn't see that. I walked in, my mom was way down there. I called the hospital. She had a fever. She was unresponsive. That is not acceptable. That's what led her back in the hospital. See, these things, I look at this and I say, how can we do better, people? I mean, there is people that need nursing homes. Why? Because there's people that don't have caregivers to would be able to take care of them. See, it's not like the family member or friends or somebody don't want to. It's sometimes they're not able to. So this is what they have available to them. But here's the worst nightmare: if they made a choice because they can't do it themselves, that they're not going to get the care. That's the hard part. That's the scary part. So we need to change that, for one. Either we need to hire more people, do something, or the people we need that are being hired need to be trained a little better. because I've literally came in a conversation with 4 individuals, and it was actually 5. No, was it 5? No. Yep, it was 4 people, but only one really gave a darn. A couple of the other ones was like, it's not my responsibility. I do this. The other one just didn't know where to go with that person. The other one said, I'm over the hours. Can you believe that? You go to an institution where you're supposed to care for someone, and that's what's going on, and this is the first time you ever been there? Sad. What are we doing? That's what we're displaying? Are we showing that? Yeah, I want my mom out of that facility. I said, oh, no. But it's weird because I worked there. I did pro bono work there. But that was years ago. So it's really sad that I had to deal with that. But it was really hard for me to say, I didn't want to leave my mom there. I was like, no, but I had to get things ready. And she needed physical therapy. We didn't even stay until she got physical therapy there. She get physical therapy at the home. We had switched everything, made it better for her to be convenient for her. Now, I had to revamp stuff, and that's fine. Because your loved one is all worth it. But what I have saw and what I realized is that we need to change. We need to change the perception of what people think about the nursing homes, rehabilitation homes, whatever the case may be. And it has to do with people. We need to do a little better. I don't know if the training needs to be a little different, but something needs to change because it's just not right. We wouldn't have all this fear of leaving our loved ones if we knew they were going to be taken care of. Now, like I said, I'm not asking for a perfect tool. There's no perfect solution, but there is a solution. Train our help better because it could have been worse. People. So when I'm telling you, it could have been worse. So if you are working in the nursing facilities or any of these facilities that are doing that, change it. Do something because you could be that one, that other one who did it all. And she was team nurse. Is the one I want to talk about. But I want more that's lead. Or follow that team nurse. Because we need to do something different for our elderly. Or in general, period. But I'm talking about elderly today. All right. And on that note, we will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Do not go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
Tell me about the podcast, why you decided to do that.
Well, one thing about that is many people do not understand the identification of oneself. And I thought that was very important. I know that there's many people out there that are like lawyers, doctors, judges, celebrities, whatever the case may be, but they are a human being. And I always want to know, who do you identify yourself as? And I think that's so important.
But it's about life. It's about things that happen. And I'm a person, a human being. We share that in common. I'm not perfect, and I don't act like I am. I have to explain my challenges and my testimonies and things that I went through or I go through. Every day is a challenge. I have to stress that because today you get up and you're like, oh, wow, this is great. But there is days it's not so great. And you know what? That is life. Sometimes it's a pause in your daily task or things that you want to complete that day, and you just get hit with a curveball and you got to figure out what you're going to do. And that's what life is all about.
Our movie can be found on Amazon Prime. We have some of the actors and cast. We got Lance Laconey, the promoter, executive producer. These are also her daughters, her sister, her family. We're all here. We're all big family.
We are family. Wow.
Production manager, actress, all in the movie, 3 Quarters Inception. Hello, promoter, Lance Laconey. Say hello. Hello.
He's the godfather, right?
I know, the Godfather. Yes, he is.
Well, congratulations and enjoy.
The Dr. Meleeka Clary show is on Bold and Brave TV network. That's a global broadcaster show everywhere. Now, what it is about the identification of oneself. And I ask that question because not many people identify who they are. You could do a lot of things in this world, but you don't know who you are. And it's not about you being a doctor. It's not about you being an actress or a celebrity or a server. It's about you being a person first. You have challenges in your life. And what do you go through? And what's your belief mechanism? What gets you up out of that bed? What makes you think? What makes you love yourself? Because some people, they don't. We're going to get to it.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show, where we're coming live. Woo! See, remember I used to do that on Bold and Brave. Sometimes I will. It's just I've been going through a little change of weather in my voice, so I know I don't want to be a cracky. But you know, I've cracked on the show before. You already know. So something that bring back, I do. But you know what? I could do it. It's all good. So before I went on break, I was still on understanding what elderly, but also on, I want to say, the care and the kind of care you want to provide and what people are expecting. You know, I deal with behaviors all the time. You know, it's not like I'm making this up. I care about people, but I believe in giving feedback on how you could do something better. And I think the reputation of saying these facilities are bad is because there's some bad people that make these facilities bad. You should agree with that. Why? Because just like here, you got bad people. I could say you could have a bad lawyer, a bad judge, or a bad teacher, or a bad friend, a bad parent. You know, you can have all these, but these are still people. They're people. And it's a behavior. So it's not like you wake up and you're just this bad individual. There's a reason why you become neglectful. Like, I'm just going to neglect this, so I don't care. I don't have the passion anymore. There's a reason why. Like I said, some people are overworked. And it's just like I used to have that when I first, got the opportunity to get the job. Now they've been in it 20 years or 10 years or 5, or maybe not even that long. And still just I'm over it. Or underpaid, or whatever the case may be, whatever makes that person feels like I don't want to do this anymore. But we got to start reminding ourselves, if you're in the healthcare, it's not just the benefits, because being in healthcare, you generally should care about people because it's healthcare. It's health care about someone's health. So when I see somebody go beyond and above, I really feel like they got passion for still what they do. It's wonderful. And I know there's some people, including myself, I know a lot of doctors who, go home, go back, whatever. But sometimes they change career paths too, because they feel like that. Sometimes you get to yourself, you stop thinking, do I even want to do this anymore? Yeah, it could get tedious after a while. I get it. But once you start feeling like you can't give the great care anymore, maybe that is time for you to change something. Because I wouldn't want someone to be in a job. I wouldn't even say job, because that kind of field may be a career path for you. If you don't enjoy it and you don't like it and you won't do it without getting paid. And don't get me wrong, we're going to pay people got bills. Don't get me wrong. You need to get paid. But if you can't do something without the money being driven, it might be not something that you want to do for the rest of your life. Because that's the question you got to ask yourself too, because I could do this while getting paid. And I don't. I do pro bono. I love it. I like helping people. That's the thing. I like helping people help themselves. I believe in people. I believe in change. I know that's a lot. Sometimes I have to move on if they don't want the help. I'm not going to be like, oh, you got to do this. Sometimes I can catch myself and say, okay, you don't want to listen? Okay, well, I got to go. Because that's sometimes you do have to do that. And maybe they're circular around and they want your help. Or maybe you left them with that note that said, go ahead, make that change. And then they're going to do it. And then by the time you know it, you come back around, they made that change and you wasn't on them anymore. So sometimes you got to, leave the situation to see somebody go ahead and do something. And I get it. But that's got to happen. So just to let you know, you're in a job that you don't like or whatever the case may be, change it. Because you're just making other people look at you like you don't care. And why be at a job and you're showing other people? And I have to be present when I see this type of behavior. I don't like it. And believe me, I have no problem letting people know. Why? Because I want change. We need change in this world towards a positive people. Come on. And let me find out. I offer services all the time. If I can't help you, I got people that can. I will find somebody to help you. If you don't like something about you, get you some help. And like I said, you're taking it to the job and it shows, you're showing that to other people. And that's the thing about that. On my show, you can get help. If I can't do it, or if I not said something that should help you, then you can email me. I am around. You can Google me. You already know. Look down the bottom. You can find me. I ain't hiding. I can sit up there and get you help, or in your state, something to get you back loving yourself so you can love what you do, or finding what that is for you. Because what I don't want to see is what I experience for my loved one. And what I experience for my loved one is not something I want to see for nobody. As I see people might be overworked or they just don't have the passion anymore. And we have to do better, people. We can't just expect better if we ain't gonna do better. That's something that you gotta take. You have to think about that. How are we gonna do better if we can't get better? So you want to take that in consideration. I'm horning down heavily on this because you may think you might not need help or be treated a certain way when you're down and out, but you will. If you plan to live long, or you want to live and you asking God, or we don't know when that ticket's up, you're going to want somebody to help you. You want somebody to advocate for you. You're going to need that person. So people, if we're being overworked and tired and stuff, if healthcare ain't for you, find a different job. Because I'm really getting tired of these facilities getting a bad rep. And it has nothing to do with the facility. It's the people in the facility who don't like the job. Don't work there. Just go find another job. Get other people who want to help people unconditionally and get paid for it. Still with the care. Just saying. I'm sharing that because I don't want nobody to experience what my mom experienced in that way. Some of it, yes, because it was positive. Some of it was negative. No. So, on that note, we are going to take a brief commercial. And we will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Don't go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
Actress, producer, writer, you've done so much leading you to 3 Corners of Deception. This is an important role for you. What's that about?
The movie is about, judicial deception, but it's also a romance. It's girl meet boy, boy meet girl, or whatever the case may be. But, on a Memorial weekend, it was a wonderful moment. But unfortunately, things end differently. It's not that you know that person when you first meet a person. It's unfortunately that happens. But the movie was more than just that. Nothing that I would even think to think about.
Now, I always tell people communication is so important. If you are feeling a certain way, what's the best way? Accept it and talk about it. How do you feel about this situation? Talk about it. That's the best advice, is talk about how you're feeling about the situation. Whatever is bothering you, whatever's you're carrying that weight, talk about it. Because if you release it, you'll feel much better. You might think that, you know, you're going to be judged. You know, if you feel that someone else is in your family is keep on letting you know all the problems that have happened and they won't let it go, let them know so that you can let it go. Explain how you feel, that I'm letting that go. There was nothing I could have done. And if I did do something, well, mistakes happen. We all make mistakes, and that's what happened.
So what can you tell us about your upcoming film, Three Corners of Deception?
Well, Three Corners of Deception has been out publicly last year.
Okay, so it's been out now.
Actually, yes, it's been out last year, but it actually been on the film festival circuit globally for about maybe 2 years.
Wow.
86 recognitions all over the world. Wow. So it's on the IMDb 8.0, something like that rating.
Yes,
so,
it's high.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people like it.
The movie, it's about judicial deception, but it started with a romance and girl meet boy, but it didn't end like that. The motivation behind that was more basically judicial deception and trying to give awareness to people that, look, this is things that's happening and it shouldn't happen.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Yes, welcome back, people. I'm back. All right, as you know, like I said, I was going to dedicate this segment and talk about the elderly and talk about patience and understanding. You know, and I think that was so important. I know we're coming to the last segment here, but you know, I think it's very important for me to explain that because, you know, like I told you before, I'm all about sharing and caring and change. And how do I get that? I got to share something about what's going on. Because these are the things that's happening in the world. Because I know people, you got to be tired of hearing the same thing and say, oh, yeah, that's figured. I know about those facilities. Yeah, but why are we not changing it? Just like if I was saying something about the law. Oh, that always happened. People say they have favoritism. They always do that with the law. Why are you not appealing? Huh? Do you know your options? Trial court, appeal court, Supreme. There's 3 levels. Not happy with that decision, you go ahead and appeal. See? There's options, people. And people need to make sure they understand those options. And that's why I'm here to tell you. There's options. And just like in healthcare, there's options. Okay? Now, we can take care of family members, but there's still options. And you need to be able to say something about them options. And do something. Don't just accept it. And then just, you're not doing anything by continuing the pattern of bad help. What are we doing there? I mean, are we doing anything? Or just letting the history repeat itself? I don't like that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear someone says, well, that's those facilities. I don't believe in that. I believe in those are the people. There goes Matthew. He just came on. That's one of my engineers. He's like, hey. He's like, let me try that button. Yeah, sometimes that's that new thing. He's like, let me get my cameo. It's all good. I love it. So, you know, you got to change something. And I wanted people to understand that. And I got to start with that. But I do want you to understand patience is so important, people. We have these elderly people. Are we going to keep on just not giving understanding to them? I mean, come on. We got to change that because even if you see someone going to an appointment and you're there and you work at a facility, a hospital or a clinic, go beyond and above to see if they need some help. I really, really wanted to help that individual. But I knew there's some information on there that they might not want me to look at. But to watch that elderly person struggle the way he did broke my heart. Because that's why I said to the lady, I said, is there anybody that can help? Well, we'll just reschedule. I mean, come on. We got to do better than that. I always put myself in that situation. Would I have wanted to be treated that way? I would want to be heard. But this person looked like they needed help. They even was confused when they gave them the pad. I mean, you do understand that. And I want to make sure this iPad thing is a new technology thing. But you got people that's born back then are not always a quick on the iPad thing. So why are you giving something that someone might be born in 1943 or 1950 and say, here you go, work it? I mean, this is what you're going to do. Well, they might need help, because I even looked at it and said, okay, but yeah, still they need help just to say, okay, can I move on with this? But guide them, so I just want to make sure I gotta just keep saying this. And I got into the health field because I want to help people, and I want people to understand how important that is. Okay, that is really important, and I want people to really get the gist of what I'm trying to say, because I'm talking to everyone, not just my situation, but everyone. Care a little bit, show a little passion. And I think that's so important. I know we're busy, we're running the gut and stuff, but come on, you in the health field right there at the clinic. Come on. Find somebody to interpret if that's the case. It just breaks my heart to see somebody struggle. So what do we need to do? Have a little bit more patience and understanding. If you're not sure if you could help that person, ask what you can offer. If it's out of scope, I don't think you're going to get in trouble doing something out of scope when it comes to that. To me, I look at that like, you go ahead. If I remember in the healthcare field, going above and beyond in that type of area, in that situation, you get praised for stuff like that. But to tell somebody, we just going to reschedule, ain't my problem. I don't think so. I don't know about that one. So hopefully we could change that. We need to do something about that. We need to have understanding about that. And let me just, I know we're running out of time. Let's see what I got you. I know, but not quite yet. But let me get this out. Now, y'all already know I've been running around with my mom and doing things and catering to her. Because that's what I would do. My mom did it for me. So why wouldn't I do it for my mom? But I'm always going to tell you, you still got to take care of yourself. That's important. Because sometimes people will say, are you taking care of yourself? I am. But I got to make sure she's okay. So I still do my walks, taking some time for me. I still do my prayers. That's time for me because it get me right. Because I'm not doing this by myself. Like the way I was back and forth to that hospital, like every time I turned around, I was like, hey, how you doing? It was to a point my mom said, did you get some rest? I was like, when you good, I'll get some rest, girl. That's how I want to tell her I'm good. But I did. I prayed. God was with me each time. He's still with me. He got me through. And he still get me through because, like I said, this is another phase. It's another phase for my mom because things change for her that I have to understand. It's easy to change somebody's room and say, hey, let's put you on the first floor versus the second floor. But it's not easy done when it's an elderly person who's conditioned to being independent. And now you got to take some of that away from her and say you need help. And a person who doesn't want to be a burden. And you're saying to them, you're not a burden. I got to help you. You need help. See, we got to do better than this. We got to start remembering about the grannies and the moms and the older dads. We gotta do better, y'all. Because, they're getting older. We don't just want them to live away because nobody's going to take care of them and show up. So, but we got to learn how to do that effectively. It's not easy just to be like, okay, I'm going to take care of this elderly person and don't have the tools to be successful. No, it's not. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm saying do your research now. And that's what I've been doing. If you are one of them people, to go ahead and take care of your elderly parent. But even if you aren't and you got them in the nursing facility, you still got to do something because you want to make sure they're being taken care of. Because like I told you, you got some bad ones and good ones. And that's the thing about it. I'm trying to give a better reputation. If I can had 4 or 5 nurses that were like Jamie, my mom would have been on point. I would have still had her at the rehab to get her rehab. But I was like, no, you gotta go to the house. I can't even trust this situation. And it's not always a nurse Jamie, but there can be. And nurse Jamie, she was phenomenal. I've had some great other nurses at the hospital and some good doctors. And that's what make it, not that we want to be sick. Here, I'm not saying that, get sick to get some, have some doctors and nurses cater on you. No. But your fear is that, are you going to be taken care of when you're in that situation? That's the thing. Are you going to be taken care of? And I think that's what we look at. Are you going to be taken care of? And we want to make sure we got some good nurses and doctors and on board. And just like people, good people on board. How's that? I'll sum it like that. Good people. Because those positions and those titles and prefixes and suffix are still people. So don't forget that you're a person first. And if you are burned out, then you need to take some time and get better. Because it's going to show in your work performance. And I'm just sharing and caring, people. I want to see change. I really do. Because I don't want whatever happened to my mom, the negative portion of it. I don't want it to happen. I'm tired of the reputation of what these nursing facilities doing what they do or whatever. I'm tired of it. I'm disgusted with it. I'm exhausted. Let's do something. That is what I have to say to you people. Let's do better. Now, on that note, you see down the bottom how to find me. You see my social medias. I mean, Google, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat if it's not there. And even if you couldn't find me, like I said, you can Google me. And the drmeleekaclary.com is my website. I hear from you. You do have no problem getting in touch with my email. And I will talk some more about your emails and stuff like that. But I thought this was heavy on my heart. And I want to thank my fans out there. Thank you so much for all the shout outs and the prayers. And you guys meshing me. And you just, thank you. Thank you for the love. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. You make me feel really good. And I really, I appreciate the love. I really do. And my mom, she does too. Thank you so much. Just, we just going to take this one day at a time with life, period, for everyone. And I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, but I want you to get something out of it. It's like I said before, and I'll say it numerous of times until I wear it out. Sharing is caring. And even what I go through, I cannot just keep that inside. I got to share that information. I got to share how I'm feeling about it. I got to let you know. Let's change this. Let's have more patience for people. And if you don't, send them to therapists, send them to a psychologist, psychiatrist, or mental therapist, counselor. That's fine. I get it. But this is just in general in life. But I'm just saying, have patience enough to tell them, hey, I think you need to get some help. I think that is important. Because that poison, that negativity circulates. Who wants that? Because I don't. Who needs that? Because I don't. We need to spread positivity as much as we can. And I leave that with you constantly. And I have to be joyful because good or bad days, I got one. And I want to have joy for the rest of the duration. One day at a time, people. It'll get better. I promise. One day at a time. Not overnight. Everything. But you never know how determined you are to make your situation better. So with that being said, I'm so glad you tuned in. And I just want you to have a wonderful day, the rest of this day. And I want you to have a wonderful weekend to come. And if nobody said I love you, I do. I don't have to know you because I'm in a field. I don't have to know you to care about you making the right decision for yourself or something you can live with. and to help you unconditionally, people. So, with that being said, I want you to have just a blessed day and keep doing what you do and enjoy. Thank you again for tuning into the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings, as we go live.